Hello, everybody. Welcome in for the Rocky Top Roundtable alongside Eric Kane, Rob Lewis, and Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price. We preview Tennessee and Florida coming up Saturday night at 7:30. Obviously, this one goes without saying. It's a big rivalry game. Take out the records. Doesn't matter which team has done what to this point in the season. It's tough, and it's always tough to win at Florida.
Well, Tennessee just has lost it every way possible down there, and that's the bottom line. I think, Rob, you wrote it in 3-2-1. Like, you just recounted about 4 or 5 games where Tennessee just found magical ways, so to speak, to lose this game. The question is, can Tennessee go down there and put 60 full minutes together?
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is just me. I mean, some fans may be too scarred and not agree, but I don't think this team, this coach in particular, has that Florida phobia. I mean, I just don't. I mean, they've not played well down there. I mean, the first time they've been there twice. The first time it was Heupel's first SEC game, period. You know, I don't put a lot of stock in that. The second time, Joe Milton at quarterback, they did not play well. Lost 29-16 or 29-13. Regardless, I don't think that Florida's in Tennessee's head. I certainly don't think they're in Heupel's head. I mean, if they lose, I think it's going to be because they committed 11 penalties. They couldn't run the ball and, had 350 yards thrown on them. I don't think that this team sees that uniform and just falls apart. And I do think that was a thing of the past.
Yeah, luckily Tennessee's played pretty clean football in the penalty regard. 7 penalties, Brent, in the last 2 weeks, or the last 2 games. The less amount penalized team for Josh Heupel since early 2021. I agree, Rob. I don't think it's a thing. I think it's more of a thing for the fan base, obviously. But you think about these veterans on this team. I mean, they've been in Knoxville, but these veterans have beaten Florida twice, and so I don't think it makes it that big of a deal. Now, I am super curious to know how that stadium is going to be. They haven't played there in a month. Okay, this will be the first time with Billy Gonzalez, first time Billy Napier's not been there. However, it's Tennessee and all that, but however, this team is not bowl eligible. So again, I'm curious to know how the energy is going to be. Will it sustain if Tennessee goes up early? What's that look like? I think it's going to be interesting. It's been a long time since they played at their home stadium.
The Vols have to be Mike Tyson in this game. Let's call it what it is. You got to knock them out early. If you make this thing a 12-round decision, it's probably not good for Tennessee, at least the way I look at it. So I think if you're Tennessee, you got to get off to a hot start like you did 2 years ago, right? You went down, boom, boom, score, and then you seem to fall apart after that. I think Tennessee's got to get off to another quick start in this game.
Well, I think it's interesting because Florida has had a hard time finishing games. They've been in games at the half. They've been in games at the start of the fourth quarter. Their struggle has been to be able to finish a 60-minute fight against a quality opponent. You look at that Ole Miss game. They got the lead in the fourth quarter on the road. The one anomaly for Florida is they quit in the Kentucky game for whatever reason. Yeah. But they had the lead in the Georgia matchup in the second half. So Florida has been a good first-half team. I think the challenge for Tennessee, Rob, is beyond the opening drive. Tennessee's been great, with the exception of last week, on the opening drives. They've scored points. But Tennessee's had these lulls. You look at the Oklahoma. They had a chance to go up 14-0. They didn't, and then they don't basically score. They score a field goal from that point on. Georgia, they have this magical first quarter. They get shut out in the second quarter. Tennessee's got to sustain more in the first half than they have in some of these big games.
I completely agree. And to AP's point, I think, Florida, it's going to be a weird atmosphere. I think if you put it on them early, I think those guys, I think the kids especially will be ready to hit the bars by halftime. If it's interesting, if it's festive, they're engaged. Then I think you'll get a typical, Saturday night in the swamp type atmosphere. So all the more on Tennessee to do exactly what you're saying, Hubbard, sustain. It's really odd the way they start so fast in these games and then hit these lulls. At least it's odd to me. You would think that once you get that momentum, especially offensively, that it would kind of sustain itself, but it's not been the case with this team.
And how can you do that? You run the football consistently. It's something Tennessee's not been able to do for a lot of the season. And I found this interesting. Florida defensively, it's been a train wreck offensively all year long. Defensively, it was pretty stout at the beginning of the season. 3 of the last 5 games, they've allowed 30 or more points, so that's obviously a negative. But going into this matchup, Ole Miss just ran for 247 on Florida. Last year, before Tennessee played Florida a couple games before that, Mississippi State ran for almost 300 against them. And Tennessee's had better run games in years past, even though this year's not bad, than this year. So I'm intrigued to see, can Tennessee run the football consistently? Where's Caleb Banks? He's been held to 1 game this year in the interior of that defensive line. He's a high-round draft pick. Could he add a little juice for that Florida front seven? I don't know. But I do think in order to go beyond that first drive, beyond that first quarter, you've got to run the football consistently, and Tennessee has not done that as well as it needs to.
And I wonder how committed they're going to be to it, Brent. At times they just gotten so pass-happy this year. If you really feel like you've got to run the ball to be successful, that means you may have to stomach through some negative yardage or no gains or 1 yard gains to keep chipping away at it.
Well, to me, the commitment level of it depends on also what are you doing with this running back rotation. Are you still going to do what you've done all year long, every 2 series that you're rotating your tailbacks? When you got maybe somebody who's in a rhythm, it's hard to find out if a guy's in the rhythm until the second half when he gets multiple carries in the series. I mean, you look at Deshaun Bishop, he got out of the gate. His second series, he gets a 1 yard touchdown run. Oh, by the way, I know you've got 35 yards and 4 carries or 25 yards and 4 carries. We'll see you midway through the second quarter because the next 4 series belong to somebody else. So I think that's an interesting part of this run game. Rob, I've seen this movie a lot, and I've seen teams where they've not been very good stopping the run. Tennessee's gone to Kentucky many years. Kentucky giving up 250 yards. Tennessee has a hard time running it. All those types of things. I do think the question is, can Tennessee effectively, maybe not for the amount of yards, but can they run it when they need to run it or when they want to run it Saturday night?
I think it's huge. I mean, short yardage, and also, we all see that lends itself to tempo. I mean, if you can't pick up, 2nd and 3 or 3rd and 2, you're not stringing those first downs together, moving the chains. To Eric's point, I mean, I think that's had a lot to do with Tennessee not being able to sustain. And I don't have a lot of data in front of me. I suspect that the inability, or at least the struggles in the run game, are leading, or at least lending themselves a little bit to Joey's interceptions the last, couple of games, especially Oklahoma, because you're putting so much on the passing game that, he's forcing some stuff.
Yeah, what I was going to say is what you can't have in this football game is 2 first half, turnovers. You can still win if you do that, but a lot of things got to go right, and you got to be able to come back and pack a punch. Don't turn the football over twice in the first half, just like Joey Aguilar and Tennessee's offense has done each of the past 2 games. Going back to the run game again, in order to do that consistently and have stability in that run game, what does this offensive line look like? I mean, we're a bit here through the week. We're keeping tabs on Wendell Moy. Obviously, he went out, in that last game. Kind of where is he towards the end of the week? Jesse Perry is not 100%, but he'll be fine. What's that offensive line look like in order to give Deshaun Bishop or whoever's in there on Series 3 the best chance to run that football?
You flip it to the other side, and Tennessee's defense had a bunch of guys sit out last week, trying to get healthy or healthier for this game. Arion Carter, Josh Josephs. To me, it's either now or never for number 3. If he can make it to the field this week, if it doesn't happen, it ain't going to happen. I'm intrigued by the defense because they've shown a few flashes here and there. Can they finally put together a really good performance against a Florida offense that's very capable, but also very capable of turning the football over?
Well, they could certainly give it to you. 17 turnovers in their losses this year. They're willing to give it up to you. So that's certainly a possibility. I think for me the key is, do you knock DJ Lagway out of rhythm and keep him out of rhythm? They've run him more since Billy Gonzalez has been the interim head coach. Do they run him more in this game, Austin? I don't know. We know the running quarterback has caused Tennessee some issues. Tennessee's got to find DJ Lagway in this game.
That to me, that's the game for Tennessee, or at least that's going to determine whether it's a 4-quarter game. Can they keep the big plays to a minimum? I don't know that they can eliminate them, after what we've seen through 10 games, but can they keep them to a minimum? Because Florida they could be explosive in the passing game, but as you mentioned, DJ Lagway, 13 interceptions, that's a real thing. I mean, you would think if Tennessee could generate some pass rush, and the potential is there, that they can force Lagway into some mistakes. That Tennessee's got to do that, got to take advantage and limit the explosives.
Yeah, unlike Brett, I've seen this movie before, but let's not pretend here. DJ Lagway leads the SEC with 13 picks. Okay, last year as a part-time starter, he had 9 picks. He has always had a turnover issue, so he's going to make some plays. They always do against Tennessee. But when he does run the football and he breaks the edge or whatever, and you have a situation where you can break down and make a tackle, you have been the best tackling football team you've been the last 2 games. I know New Mexico State is not Florida, but you did it against Oklahoma. Can you do it again here in the Swamp, not letting small gains get first downs that result in touchdowns? Force him into a bad decision, corral him in the run game. He's going to turn it over. Take advantage, give back your offense, and the offense got to play complementary football.
So what you're saying is, what I've learned out of this is the movie has been seen before, which means Apollo always dies. That's not a good thing. Biggest key in this game for Tennessee is what? And I'll start. Normally I go last. For me, it's Joey Aguilar's got to get back to early season Joey Aguilar, not put the ball in harm's way. I said it, after the game, I said it, in the locker room Sunday night. It's like he did such a good job the first 5 or 6 games, but once the spigot got turned on for a couple of risky throws, the spigot can't get turned off for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean he's got to
Change
take
the
care-
washer?
He's got to take care of the ball. I mean his footwork has to be better, and he has to understand the drive is more important than the play. And what I mean by that is you got the ball at the end of the play so that you can continue the drive or your next set of downs.
You said that on the 2-minute drill.
Well, he's thrown first down interceptions. There's not 3rd and 12 heaves. They're 1st and 10 heaves.
Yeah.
He's got to avoid that. For me, when I look at this game, I think it's understanding that they're not going to roll over, and you're going to have to keep punching in this game. Jason Swain's talked about it, and their win down there when he was a player in 2003. I know. In 2000, I had to go decades in my mind. But they kept punching. They kept playing, Rob. And I think that's what you have to understand in your mind. That's going to be the fight. As much as you would like to end it in the first quarter, you're probably not going to end it in the first quarter. You got to punch for 60 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I could pick a few things. I'll pick pass rush just because I think that Lagway is so susceptible to mistakes. Tennessee has been really good, in getting to the quarterback that's tailed off later in the season. But if you can heat Lagway up, I mean, I just think the opportunity to create some negative plays are big.
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of said, my first couple of ones I was going to say, but I'm going to go with pass rush as well. Again, going back to what I just said a moment ago, DJ Lagway is a turnover machine. He has been, all right? Can you continue that trend? Get after him, force him into bad decisions. Joshua Joseph should be, feeling good, ready to roll. David Hobbs had a really, really good game the other day. Let's see what Tyree West and Don Bailey. Get after DJ Lagway, force him to turn the football over, and again, capitalize on that. You will have opportunities. Can you go force those? We'll see.
This whole thing started with a fake punt by Britton Colquitt in 2005. Maybe it ends with Jackson Ross and a fake punt in 2025. I know that won't happen, but it was fun to say just because I wanted to draw attention to Britton Colquitt's fake punt in 2005. He's Brent Hubbs, Rob Lewis, and Eric Kane. I'm Austin Price for the Rocky Top Roundtable.